Welcome to my daily review. Today is Tuesday, May 7th. Today was a pretty lackluster session following Disney and Palantir earnings reports that were not well received. I'm going to get to some of the earnings here in a minute, but I just wanted to point out the Nasdaq. This is the third day in a row. Well, first of all, it was down today, 17 points, 0.1%. Closed at 16,333. The volume, okay, the volume, for all you volume people, the volume was higher on today that it was down 17 points in the three sessions that it rallied, okay? I don't know if that really makes a big difference. It doesn't to me. I just wanted to point out a couple of things here. First of all, the low was made on April 19th, and ever since then, we've made a series of higher lows, okay? So you didn't have a follow-through day, I mean, but we had a 2% move here, and then we had a 1.5% move here. So, 2% move here. Those are essentially follow-through days, even though they didn't have the volume. But price pays. And now let's look at the price here as we zero in, is that the low of the session on Friday was 1.8%. Well, we'll just say it was 1.8% below the 21, above the 21. Monday, it was the 21 was 15,920. It stayed above it, and today the 21 was 15,958, and the low of the session was 16,303. So you got 350 points to spare. This red line here is the 50. The green line is the 10, and the magenta line or pink line is the 21. You can see the 10 has crossed through the 21, and within a couple of days, it's going to cross through the 50 unless this thing crashes. All I'm looking for is the low of the session. I'm going to keep it real simple, real simple. As long as the low of this day, the low of the session is above this pink line, it's go time. I'm going to be more aggressive. If it trades below it, that's a different story. I'll get more defensive. But right now, we've had 3 days in a row where the low of the session is above the 21. These shorter term moving averages are going to trade through this longer term moving average. And to me, I'm not going to say we're off to the races, but it looks like the start of a new uptrend since that low of April 19th of 15,222. Anyway, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. If you want to look at a longer picture here of the Nasdaq, usually I save this for the weekly reviews, but that's 16,212 from November 2021 is, we're right there, just a tick above it, right? We closed today at 332, 120 points above it. So to me, that just looks like a nice big consolidation pattern of 2.5 years. Why not break out and run new highs here? Which I think we will. We made one there at 16,538. So shorter term, that's what we're looking for right there. Take out the 16,538. Anyway, I don't trade the index, but I do like to have the tailwinds at my back. And I mentioned today was kind of a lackluster day. And I'm going to get to the insurance companies in a minute. But, Apple came out and said they're going to make AI chips, and so that knocked NVDA down a little bit. Apple's trying to get into the AI game. They have a ton of money. I mean, $100 billion, $110 billion stock buyback, but we'll see what they do. It's just like Amgen saying they have a weight loss drug. Yeah, it's not going to come to market till 2026. I mean, Apple's jack of all trades. They said they're going to get into, electric cars, and now they're the big AI. So they're just a bunch of talk right now. They haven't delivered the goods in a long, long time. So, their talk is really cheap. The stock is, lagging the indexes. Microsoft, just in a trade range here, doing nothing wrong, but, doing nothing right too. It's below its 50. So nothing good happens below the 50. And so Microsoft has to drive through the 50 and get back above that 430 level for me to get excited. Google, I don't get excited that often. This one ramped on earnings, pulled back to the 10, found support. It's been up like 4 or 5 sessions in a row. This thing looks, to me, it looks fantastic. One of the stronger of those, mega cap technology stocks. Meta, this one sold off with earnings, and it's just been driving higher. Now it's moving through its 10 EMA and it's 21, and it's just that looked like a gift, that low of that session. I think it was like, I don't know, 419 or something. Was it 2 weeks ago when it sold off? What was that date? April 25th. Yeah, the low was 414.50. So yeah, now it's at 468. So not bad. Amazon had a strong earnings report, had a nice response ever since, and looks to take out that 189.77, which it did today, made a new high there. That's a nice little, it's a nice little cut pattern. So we'll see what happens with Amazon. That one looks pretty good. Tesla had the nice rebound, following earnings. Looked like a little short covering now. It's pulling back to its 10 EMA. So these moving averages, these shorter term moving averages are starting to cross through the longer term moving averages. So this is looking a little better. NVIDIA, oh my God. So Apple's coming after NVIDIA, and Stanley Druckenmiller said he sold some of his stock. Big deal. If you're selling stock because some whale said they sold 2 months ago, you're doing it wrong. There's a lot of prints. Some people got a hold of me today and said, well, the low was 823. It never went down to 823 today. Market surge and all the brokerages have that, but it never traded there. I was watching it fairly closely. And if you look at the 5-minute chart, you can see here in the morning set, it traded down to like 890, which to me was a gift because it's been hovering around the 900. I bought some calls just to trade back up to the 900 level. And fortunately for me, it went back to about 915 or so before pulling back. But it still closed at 87%. No, this is all wrong. Anyway, forget it. We'll move on because that's a bad candle right there. It didn't even trade down to its 50. So because some people had some stop losses and they said no, it didn't even trade down to that level. So anyway, we'll just save NVIDIA for tomorrow. I did mention that today was a lackluster session. When I'm talking about the insurance company as a sexy stocks of the day, and it's kind of a dull session. And Oscar is insurance, health insurance. These are not your auto insurance, which has been gouging people. My gosh, the auto insurance bills are crazy. But this was up 4% following an earnings report. We've had this on our ready list. I really like the chart pattern here. The cup with handle, this little shake out there, those 4 sessions there, that's enough to shake some people out. And then today the big boys came in and bought it up. Nice, pull back to the 10, nice 4-day shakeout. 4 days, almost a whole week. My goodness, we can't hold that long with the stock going down. And then all of a sudden it just blasted higher. So if you sold there, shame on you. It just pulled back to its 10 and bounced. Yeah, it went down to 17 and now it was over 20 today. Yeah, so good for Oscar, good for the insurance companies. ACGL, Arch Capital, this is one that we had on our ready list a while ago. It was around 80 something. Now it's at 98. These are slow movers. These are not going to move like NVIDIA and SMCI, or Carvana, but they're trending higher. You can see it pull back to the 50 for the first time since its breakout, and then just traded higher, pull back again. So you don't want to see it doing that too often. AIG, my goodness, if we're talking AIG, just made a new high today. Just wanted to point that out. These insurance stocks are strong once again. So rotation into insurance. I need to take a look at the data center stocks because they look really good. They're really strong. And this one is CEG Constellation Energy. This traded above 200 for the first time today, breaking out of this flat base pattern, but they have earnings on May 9th. So this could, these last 4 days, as it bounced off its 21, could just be short covering into the print here on a Thursday. So just know your earnings dates because you don't want to get slammed. This one, yeah, you can see that is only 5-week flat base pattern. That's all you need. It's 5 weeks. So yeah, this one looks really good to me. And this is one of the strong data center plays as well as Sterling, which reported today. Gapped up 15, almost 16% with volume. That's a move not to be ignored. The RS line going right through those moving averages, to me, that's a buy, sign. I didn't buy it, but that is a buy sign. And just showing strength in this data center, utility energy, um, cohort. This is Quanta Services. They had a few upgrades today following earnings. You could see that it traded back to its 50 following earnings last week, I believe. And yeah, and then people, cooler heads prevailed and then bought the stock up, and it made a new high yesterday and today, and then pulled back here near the lows of the session. That close today was, everything pulled back towards the end of the session. So I'm not too surprised to see these stocks doing that as well. Vert is another one in the data center. This is a cooling play. This one has been up a lot. So, a little profit taking down 2%. Not a big deal. I was going to look at the 5-minute chart here because, yeah, it was just kind of flat all day. And then towards the end, there was just some selling towards the end of the session today. Don't know what that's about. Dell, another stock that I like that looks good. I was watching this one for a little bit today and just kind of flat doing nothing. And then towards the end, it was up here at 129.55. Not too longer later, it was 126.66. So it's like, okay, $3 drop in a half an hour. I don't know why, but yeah, it was just kind of a weird session today. Eaton, this one's just grinding higher. It looks like it's just consolidating in a base, finding support at the 50. So that Eaton looks fine as well. The air conditioning, HVAC, cooling group, man, these guys are strong. This is Fix. Up another $8 today, made a new high at 345. This thing looks fantastic, getting support at the moving averages there. MOD, this is the one that I had on our ready list because it's not extended like the others, but it's starting to get that way. You see it undercut its 50 and now it's rallying. It pulled back within the base, which I like, kind of trading a little tight, pull back after a big long run. Okay, this thing went from 38 to 106. So, a 31-day base is not really that big of a base here. Let's check it out on the weekly. What is that, seven-week base? After, you can see a massive run. So Modine, but it's going to do what it wants to do. It's at, up 4% today. And, it's got that standard buy point of 106. I think our early entry buy point was quite a bit lower than that. I forget what it was, to be honest with you. $96, something like that. And the other one is CARR, Carrier spinoff from United Tech, and just making new highs. So I'm just acknowledging this group as showing strength. We got some earnings in retail today. CROX. I was really surprised by the move. This company is pretty well managed, and the CEO sandbags heavily, but he cannot sandbag, the Hey Dude numbers. Hey Dude is just really dragging this company down. Now they technically the stock traded below the 50 and then it stayed below there for a few weeks and then ramped higher on earnings. So that's a positive. But and also the accelerated earnings and sales growth, that's a positive. So it's heading in the right direction. They just need to figure out, hey dude, and this is the quarter where they switch over from the spring summer inventory to the fall winter. And Hey Dude's not going to be in demand because it's more of a summer shoe. And so that's why they, kind of guided down for Hey Dude. They have to figure out Hey Dude. They hired somebody from Stanley to market Hey Dude shoes. And once it becomes a year-round shoe, winter, summer, spring, fall shoe, then Hey Dude might be an asset for Crocs. But right now it is a liability. If you just take a look at Crocs' balance sheet, though, they got a ton of cash flow, return on equity is fine. They just got some debt there with Hey Dude. And once they pay that off and get the Hey Dude figured out, this could be, another, strong stock. And investors know that. They just have to figure out the Hey Dude. So give it another quarter or two or three. Since I'm on the shoe kick, how about Deckers? This one sold off. The S&P inclusion had not been good for Deckers and SMCI, but now it's forming a base, trying to rally through its 50. They have earnings on May 23. Skechers is another one that I like. Made this gap here on earnings. It was 11.2% with some volume. You see the low of the session there is important The low of the session was 65.03, had an inside day the following day, then came back and retested that low at 65.04, retested again at 65.06, and now it's making higher lows. Yeah, the last 2 days have had inverted hammer candles, but those lows are higher, than prior lows. So I'm expecting this one to trade higher. That is the sketcha. And if you look at it, let me go to like a 15-minute chart, and you can see, it's just kind of support there. Once it gapped higher, it's just kind of, put it this way, if you're a short, how come you can't push it below these, lows? And it's just making higher lows on the daily. So Skechers looks pretty good to me. Celsius reported today. Celsius, the drink. And they were saying that it was an inventory mix, blah, blah, blah. But investors don't want to hear it. They want execution. When you're priced to perfection, you got to deliver perfection. And now we're starting to see the slowing growth. Well, of course, it's not going to grow at 100% or 95%, but it slowed to 37% this quarter, and not really what you want to see. So they're like I say, nothing good happens below the 50. This was below the 50 for a while. Earnings came and it fell out. So I don't know if that's going to be in timeout for a while, or we'll see what the analysts have to say after the conference call today. So anyway, I'm going to move on from the retail group and go to the drugs. Haven't covered the drugs in a couple days. They're just basing. That's why this is NVO below the 50. Today traded up to the 50, found some resistance there. So it's going to need to power through the 50 there, which was 127.21 today. Yeah, closed, just a tick above it. It looks fine though. It's just consolidating in a base after a big move. It was 75 to 138. That's a big move. Lilly, same thing, consolidating in a base. Got this double bottom pattern going. It is clearly above the 50 though, so it's looking a little stronger than Novo Nordisk. And then Viking. This thing looks ready to take off to me. It was up again. Don't bother with the earnings line. This is a takeover target. They've got a drug. It's an 8 billion market cap, 8.5 billion with no sales or earnings. So they have the weight loss drugs are going to deliver, they're going to be the largest selling drugs of all time. So some big pharma company is going to take a bite out of this one eventually. And so investors kind of banking on that and propping this up. They're I want to say their secondary is at $85, and it's still below that. So I want to see it trade above 85. All right, I'm going to move over to my favorite group, the oil and gas stocks. This is Cactus Jack. It was flat on the session today. You can see this big cup with handle pattern. It's a slower moving stock, but I just like the chart pattern. I don't expect, big things out of it, but the pattern probably indicates that it's going to trade higher. The earnings line is trending higher. You can see the cash flow, return on equity. This is a pretty solid company. Up, down volume, 1.4. Anything above 1 is pretty darn good. More buyers and sellers. So yeah, I'm keeping my eye on WHD. AROC is another one. I think they went ex-dividend yesterday or last week at some point. Anyway, just consolidating in a base. You can see it broke out here. It had this ascending base pattern, ran up to 2140, and then pulled back to the 50 and found support. That one looks pretty good. Then Tidewater is the king of the oil and gas field services stocks. It broke out Friday and then followed through on Monday. I'm going to get to the gappers a little later. That's definitely one to watch there. Tidewater. And since okay, I've got to go to the home builders, because Builders First Source reported today and investors did not like it. My goodness, down 19%, massive volume. It's adios muchachos underneath the 50. And I just, that was not well received today from Builders First Source, but it did not affect the home builder stocks. This is DH Horton. It was just flat on this session. That looks, fine. Lennar, flat on this session. Pulte Homes. Yeah, the Builders First Source didn't pull these things down, and These Pulte's consolidating in a base, might be on our ready list here pretty soon. Anyway, move on to the chemical stocks. The chemicals are doing great. This is Westlake Chemical. You can see it broke out, then pulled back to the 50, found support and bounced. One of my favorite moves. DD, this is a DuPont de Nemours, and this one, you know, bouncing out of this base. This is a larger stock. Just so you can see, God, my God, just traded sideways for years. Whew, man, that thing's never going to move. And then ASPN, that's why I wanted to show this group. Chemicals, I'm going to start, this is, you know, a gapper that you got to pay attention to. That's why I always say, do not ignore these. And you can see this was a gap of 56%, and it's just followed through every day, 5%, 1.4%. And today another, you know, another nice move. So every day, what did I say? 56, 5, 3, 1. Uh-oh. So maybe it's running out of steam here and a pullback like TMDX did today. Some profit taking. You got to expect profit taking with moves like this, but you know, allow these moving averages to catch up. What you look for, what I look for, is just, you know, where are they going to find support? This is the move higher, and then where is it going to find support? 125, 120. You just got to watch and wait and observe where buyers come in there for that one. IESC, this one is a low volume, thinly traded stock, not liquid at all, but it gapped higher with earnings and continues, you know, to act well. So you just got to pay attention to these because there could be new leadership here with these groups. And so Tandem, double inside day after its move higher. So it's allowing the moving averages to catch up. Another one to watch, Carvana, made this big move, pull back today, you know, some profit taking coming in. That's to be expected as the moving averages to catch up. VMI, I actually went to their website. They have a cool website. These guys do a lot. They do even solar, agriculture, coatings. They're just in a lot of stuff. Telecom. They have a really cool website, but yeah, gap tire, 17%. Made a new you know, high above the old high today. And if you're looking for, you know, stocks breaking out of a stage one base, this looks like a classic right here with the earnings line starting to, you know, trending higher. So Valmont looks good. THC is another one, Tenet Healthcare. Gap tire, and it's just been up every day. I mean, it gapped up on April 30th, 13.25%, and just every day, you know, 3%, 2.5%, 1%, 1.7%, and today 1.4%. We like stocks that go up and make new highs every day. Those are easy to hold. Qualcomm is one that broke out last week and just kind of holding steady. I was hoping it would pull back to this area, but you know, it's just making higher lows here. And I doubt it, you know, we're going to get lucky and have it pull back to 175. But as long as these moving averages start trending higher, this thing could be in the start of a new uptrend. So definitely one to watch is Qualcomm. And then Lending Tree, Cap Tire, you know, making higher lows. Some profit taking came in today. Anyway, let me see. LMAT is another one. Yeah, this is a nice base here, Gap Tire. I want to see this thing pull back 3 or 4 sessions and shake out some of the weak hands or just some profit taking, allow the moving averages to catch up. But yeah, that ramped with earnings, a nice move of 11%. Anyway, like I said, that's it for me. Thank you for watching, except for I lied. In honor of the great Steve Jobs, one more thing. Earnings tonight, Reddit. I guess they killed it. You know, it's up 11%. You know, they IPO'd recently and sold off. A lot of non-believers here. And there you could see the you know, the big, you know, V-shaped sell-off, lighter volume. Then today or tomorrow, it's going to trade higher, it looks like. You could see the earnings line headed due north. So Reddit looking pretty good. I didn't look into the reports. I don't have time to do that. After hours, I have to get this video out. So I'll look at it tonight, tomorrow morning, and have more information. I did see Arrested Networks beat on all metrics here. It's up 8%. Yeah. That was a pretty nice earnings report. And this is just consolidating in a base. I can't get too excited about this stock below 307 level, but it is going to break above the 50 SMA tomorrow. If everything holds, that's a nice move, 8%. TOST, financial credit card payment stock is up nearly 4%. I think they lost money, but less than what was expected. Upstart, I have no clue what they do or what is going on with this stock, down 12%. I know what they do. They lose shareholders money, as you can see. This in 2021, that, my friends, is a downtrend. Ouch. I hope nobody held on to that stock, hoping that it would come back to its former glory. When reported tonight, this is a good proxy for the the leisure gaming Las Vegas Sands group. And this is up after hours, 1.5%. So I had no idea what they said on their report at all. This is a lift up 7%. That might we might get some pin action with Uber tomorrow. We'll have to wait and see, but I did not see that report at all. Oxy, this one doesn't move much, and down less than 0.5%. Blah. ALAB, I did see they were down quite a bit, 8% following their earnings report. This is an expensive stock. I mean, doing 50 million in sales, not even 10, 38, 50. Yeah, it's accelerating, but I mean, what are they doing? 200 million, in sales, and it's 11, 12 billion market cap. Insane valuation here with this one, but it's going to allegedly grow into that valuation. So Twilio, I don't really follow this stock or have anything. Man, it's down 6%. Big deal. CFLT, I did see this one is up after hours, 7%. So a mixed bag after hours. I'll have more information tomorrow morning. Thank you for watching. And at mcstockcharts.com, we never give up.